Aloha! Welcome! Welcome to Kingdom Kids, guys. Remember, we're talking about Ohana. What does Ohana mean? Joseph, do you know? Family. Joseph's a little shy. Family. Ohana means family. And that's the whole purpose of why we come together as believers. We're family. God has brought us together to be family and to be His kids, and that's what we are. So we've been talking about, last week, we talked about the first family. What were their names? Adam and Eve, that's right. And then we're going to talk about another family a little bit farther down the line from Adam and Eve. So when we think about family, we think about what God says, right? And sometimes other people say, oh, well, we're family. They don't really mean what God says about family. So one of the things that we're going to learn about today, guys, is Noah. Now, Noah was a great man. Did you know that, Stitch? He was a great man, and he had a heart after God. He loved God. But the world was corrupt. The world was really bad. The people were not following what God said. So let's learn about that Bible story from the book of Genesis.
Aloha, my friends. It is good to see you out enjoying this beautiful island day. But be mindful, the winds from east are coming and bringing dark storm clouds this afternoon. You know, I've been through many storms here on the island, and it was your Papua who taught me how to keep everyone safe by being prepared. It is part of the reason he was such a great lifeguard. Now, about this crazy list your Papua left you, you know, Papua always has great reason for asking someone to do something for him. Even when it seems like it doesn't make sense, you should obey. In fact, this reminds me of a story in the Bible about a man named Noah. Noah lived in a time where people were so full of evil that God knew something needed to happen. Now, Noah was different. In fact, he was the only person who lived right and pleased God. So God made a plan to save Noah and his family for what he was about to do. God told Noah that he was going to send a huge flood to destroy the earth, and that Noah needed to start building a really giant boat. Noah followed God's instruction to make the boat 45 feet high, 75 feet wide, and 450 feet long. This was the only way the boat would be big enough to fit Noah's family and 2 of every kind of animal on earth. This might have seemed like crazy instructions, but didn't stop Noah from obeying God. Once he was finished, he went into the boat with his family and brought each kind of pair of lions, lambs, butterflies, bluebirds, bears, elephants, and every other kind of animal inside with them, just as the rain started to fall. For 40 days and 40 nights, water gushed from left and right and up and down. It was a good thing Noah obeyed all God's instructions, because he was able to keep his family and all the animals safe. Water flooded the earth for 150 days. God sent a wind to sweep over the earth, and the water began to go down. The rain stopped falling from the sky, and the water continued to go down. It wasn't long until the boat landed on the top of Mount Ararat. Noah sent a white dove out to see if the water had gone away. The dove came back because there were no place to land. A short time later, Noah sent the same dove out and returned with a leaf from an olive tree in its beak. Then, 7 days later, Noah sent the dove out again, but this time, he didn't come back at all. That meant all the water was gone. God told Noah and his family that the time had come for them to leave the boat. God made a promise that he would never send another flood to destroy the whole earth again. God placed a rainbow in the clouds as a sign of his promise. Every time you see a rainbow in the sky, you can remember that promise is true for you today because Noah's family obeyed God. How cool is it that even though God was telling Noah to do something kind of crazy, he listened to God and obeyed him. And because he obeyed, his entire family and all the animals were safe from the flood. Just like Noah listened to God and obeyed, your family should remember to obey too. Well, it looks like the sky will be getting angry very soon. But don't worry, there's always a rainbow on the other side. Aloha!
So, what happened to Noah? It looks like there's a storm rolling in. What do you think? I think there's a little bit of a storm rolling in. There was a big storm, a big flood. What happened? You don't know. They don't remember. They were not watching the story. Do you remember? So God had talked to Noah and said, look, I'm kind of fed up with how the world is behaving. And so the Lord had Noah build a giant ark. Have you ever seen an ark that big, a boat that big? No, it was huge. And he built it, and he told Noah to get how many of each animal? Two of every animal. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know if I could live with two of every kind of animal on a boat. So, God had them build it. Now, Noah was not treated very kindly. He was not treated nice. And it's a lot how Christians today are treated. We're not treated very nice sometimes because people just don't understand what we know about God. And so that's our job, is to share what we know about God and what we really believe about God. Is that right, guys?
Yes.
So what are some things that you've learned from the Bible story today? Noah and his family sought after God. They looked for everything that God could teach them, and they obeyed God. Now, does that mean you can't mess up? No. You can always mess up, and God will come chasing after you. But Noah made sure that he followed what God told him to do. And we need to do that as families too. We need to be Ohana and follow after what God says. We need to obey what God says. And it's important that you listen to mom and dad and listen to the adults that God has put in your life and follow what they say when they are talking about following after God. It's really important. So our family likes to spend a lot of time together. Now, we kind of got forced into spending a lot of time together with the virus, but we love spending time together. We love playing games, and we love going on car rides and having fun. And you can do that with your family and still obey God. So remember, this week you need to be learning, what's our Bible verse? Romans
12:10.
Romans 12:10. Do you remember what it says? So check out this slide if you don't. So, Romans 12:10. I want you to learn that and get it in your heart so that you can follow what God says and obey His heart for you. Now, we still have a lot of things that we need to pray about. We're still in quarantine. We still really can't go out and do life as we used to do. So we want to continue to pray for all the families who have sick loved ones, and all those families who are needing work and needing things to do to pay their bills and to buy food for their families. We want to pray for all of those people. And we want to pray for each of us that we will just continue to grow and grow and grow. Remember, like our last series, we want to grow in our friendship with God. We need to continue that as a family. Right, guys? We want to grow as the family of God. And so that means doing kind things and doing things even when other people say, "Why are you doing that?" So we want to make sure that we have a heart of God for other people. Even if they're different from us, we want to have a heart for people. That's what God called us to do. Today, Sunday, is Pentecost Sunday. And that's when the disciples received the gift from God that Jesus told them that was coming. It's the Holy Spirit to give us guidance and to help us to do the things in life that we're going to do, because just like we're having, there are going to be storms. There are going to be viruses that keep us from being together. And there are going to be times where you're feeling kind of lonely. That's when you seek after God. When you put God first in your life, and He will always come running to you. So we're going to pray, and we're going to ask Jesus to help all of us, to give us strength and encouragement, and to help us to have laughter and fun. So Jesus, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your love and your goodness. We thank you that we have families that we can look at what they did. They obeyed you. They followed what you wanted, even though it wasn't very popular with other people, and even though people made fun of them and gave them a hard time, they still followed you. Please help us to be like that. Help us to be kind, be loving, to have a heart for people like you have a heart for people. Help us to seek you first and treat everyone like we want to be treated, and treat everyone like you treat them. We love you, Jesus, and we thank you for taking care of our families. We thank you for Ohana. It's so very important. And we ask, Jesus, that you will protect all of those who are still working and those people who are still having to be on the front lines. We ask that you will take care of them, that you'll keep them safe. And Jesus, we ask that you will be with all of us as we continue to follow you. Help us to do everything that we can to further your kingdom. We thank you, Jesus, and we praise you. In Jesus' name, amen. So remember, Ohana is number one, right? What's number one?
Ohana!
Ohana. So even though we can't hug yet, we're getting close. And just continue to pray for all of those things that are keeping us apart. And we ask that you will just join us online and keep following us. And we'll have more things coming up. Join us at our 10:30 service today outside in the parking lot at church. We'd love to see you. We'd love to worship with you. Continue to worship and do your devotionals from our last series. Send us an email, send us a post, anything that you want to do to let us know how you're growing in Jesus. We'd love to hear from you. We love you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.